right, so in this exercise, I'm going to paint this version of the scene with the wrong values, and I'm going to paint it in this version of the scene with the right values to show you how important it is to get the values right, not necessarily the colors. I'm going to paint this first version, and as I paint it, I'm going to be giving you my reasoning for why I'm choosing these values, but just keep in mind that I am purposefully choosing the wrong ones and I am saying the wrong things, because these are the things that I hear my students say when they dial in the wrong values, and you know what I used to say in my own head when I would dial in the wrong values. First, I'm going to put in the sky, which honestly isn't going to change from scene to scene. Just going to get some ultramarine blue, some white, and we're just going to pop this in here. I love doing these little studies like this for doing bigger paintings to help me figure out the things that I'm going to figure out in this video, the values. Because I did start out by doing a little thumbnail sketch right here. So I did figure it out there. So now I move into this, and I'm seeing like this is in light, that's in light, you know, the sunlight's hitting it. So I want both of these to be pretty light. And now there are trees in the distance. So I'm going to go for my blue, and then since it's in the distance, a little bit of my yellow ochre, because yellow ochre is a desaturated yellow. And as colors get in the distance, they're going to get desaturated and a little bit cooler. You see how that's like an olive green. Now remember, this is in the sunlight. I want it to be hitting, I want it to be light. You know what? I think I want to make it even lighter. I'm going to push a little white, maybe some yellow ochre. Let's lighten that because I really want that to, yeah, this is getting hit with sunlight. That bright sunlight. A little yellow ochre. Remember, I want this to be really bright as well. I'm putting this in. There's too big a difference between these values. You know, these are so close together, like that and that. So maybe actually just going to take some of that color, push it into this, make them closer in value. Moving down here, I'm just going to move to the cows, which are pretty much black. So I'm just going to get some ultramarine blue, a little burnt sienna. Just get these little simple shapes. I'm not going to be drawing like individual cows. All right, then down here, it's in the grass. It's in shadow, but it's still pretty light. I mean, look how much lighter it is than that cow. So let's make this pretty bright too, but just cool it down. Again, I want to make sure that this isn't too dark. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, you know, this isn't horrible, but I just feel like it could be so much more interesting, because right now, like when I squint my eyes, I see pretty much all the hills and mountains, pretty much all of this is one value. Like when I squint my eyes, like it all gets lumped into one. The ground is a midtone, and then the dark is that, which isn't bad. I just feel like it could be a lot better. So let's try this again. I'm going to take a quick break here and assume that if you're watching this video, you're into landscape painting, and there's probably nothing more important to know with landscape painting than composition. It's the first thing you do in the process. And I always say, if you don't get the composition right, it doesn't matter how well you paint your painting. That's why I've made my free composition coaching guide. It's a series of short, easy to understand videos that simplifies composition to something that you can actually implement in your next painting. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. See, now you're going to hear me talk about different things as I put in these. This is actually going to change. I am pushing it slightly darker so that's not grouped in with the sky, because I want that for my value composition. All right, now here's time for the big changes. Is I actually want these trees to be a little darker. Now, I know that they're in light, but you need to understand in a landscape, there's different value planes. I go over this in my Landscape 101 course, is that in a landscape, there's, you know, different value planes that tend to happen most of the time. Most of the time, your sky is going to be your lightest plane. And then your ground is your second light. It's going to be slightly darker. Here, it's in shadow. So it's kind of, you know, when I'm talking about this, make sure all the planes are either all in light or they're either all in shadow. So sky's the lightest, followed by your ground plane. Then any slanted planes like hills or mountains are going to be slightly darker. And then your darkest objects are going to be your uprights, things like trees, people, houses, stuff like that. So I know that these trees should be reading a little bit darker. And I know that I can push it. That's the thing with these, once you break your scene down into shapes and you're assigning values, these shapes, value-wise, they have some flexibility. You can push them darker or you can push them lighter. And that's where the decision making comes in. So you're as a painter, as an artist, you have to make decisions. I feel like that's all art is just making decisions. So like understanding this, you can see how valuable it is, no pun intended, to do these little sketches because you can try out different values. Maybe you tried this out, maybe you like this one better. That's again, like that's the choice. That's where the creativity comes in. But you need to understand the cause and effect of things, the cause and effect of dialing things in certain values and how compositionally it leads your eye through the painting in a certain way. Now, if you're wondering like, hey, like how do you know how to put all these colors in? If you're not going by the photo, how do you know what to do? Well, that's where plein air painting is very important. And I've plein air painted enough that I know what's happening. I know how to translate the photo. I feel like that's what that's what landscape painting really is. It took me a long time to understand that, is that it's translating. And even if you can't go out and plein air paint, like, the materials, like I know it's very difficult, you can still go out and observe and, take photos and observe, or take videos and narrate over the video what you're seeing in life compared to what you're seeing on the camera. And that will make doing things like what I'm doing here a lot easier. Now for this ground, I want to make it dark enough that when I squint my eyes, it kind of gets grouped together with the cows because I want this dark foreground. I think that's going to be really nice. I also just think it's going to make this seem lighter and brighter. And that's what I like about this. I like this scene. I like these hills that are being lit up by the sun that was kind of not fully setting, but definitely lower in the sky. And so those are going to be only as bright as the darks are around it. So if I push this a little darker, it's going to make these pop a lot more. So it's interesting. You'll see a lot of landscapes that have these darker foregrounds. Like they'll choose to put the foreground in shadow because it works. It just makes it easier for the viewer's eye to kind of enter the scene. You don't get hung up on the foreground and you get towards the background. Let me see if I can push it a little bit darker. It's another thing, values, it's all relative. Like a lot of times you're not going to know if something's bright enough or dark enough until you get everything else in it, like I just did. And I was like, okay, I could probably go a little brighter here or there. Also, there's these little darks in the trees, these shadows that are going to be pretty purple. Not a lot of them. They're going to be on like, the sun's kind of coming from straight on almost, so they're into the left. So it's kind of like back into the right. So there's not going to be a ton of them. So yeah, just looking at this, I just like this is reading like in shadow a lot more for me, and just the difference in value wise I like a lot. And just these, having these shapes are playing more of a role in the scene. You have this big triangle shape kind of pointing you this way. You have these kind of pointing you down, and like it creates lines. The difference between these two, it's creating a line that brings you right to our cows. This also back here, like that was a choice to make that darker. Maybe I don't want that darker. Maybe I want that lighter. I'm like kind of looking at it now, I'm like wondering, but I don't know. How that kind of helps push you up this way a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I do a third one and I don't make that as dark or light. An easier thing you can do is just sketch it. If you're wondering like, oh, is it better to have that mountain be a mid-tone or a light? Sketch it. Take you 10 minutes and you figure it out. So many times, like I had a student that he would keep doing full-blown paintings like 9 by 12, 11 by 14. And I'd kept telling him things like that. I'm like, I think you need to push that mountain lighter, or you need to make that ground darker. And so he'd like go do a completely whole new painting. And I told him, I was like, everything I'm telling you, you can figure out in a little thumbnail. Like you can solve your problems in a 10-minute thumbnail with just uh, pencil. Like you don't need an entire painting to solve these. So, all right, I think that's about it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. Have fun painting.